I want to cover a couple of tools in this video, which will be this one and this one on the toolbox. Now the first one is Surface by Edge Curves. This is a nice simple tool to use and tends to generate surfaces which have some logical shape that you would sort of expect to happen. And I've got a nice row of examples here for you to play with. So let's zoom into the first one. Now, the tool constructs surfaces from a combination of 2 to 6 existing edges. The edges can be lines, line strings, shapes, arcs, curves, B-splines, complex change, or complex shapes. To use the tool, simply select the first 2 edges, then control data point on any subsequent edges. You can also, of course, use a selection set created by a selection box rather than individually data pointing. If you have between 3 to 6 edges, then the endpoints of the edges must meet. For 2 edges, they can be separate, as you'll see. So let's get rolling. The tool is running, and notice there is absolutely nothing in the tool settings window. So it's simply a matter of selecting the profiles. Going to make a selection set, data point, and there's my surface. That's pretty much what you'd expect. Moving on, 2 semicircles, separated, and one above the other. So selection set, data point, and the curve is morphed between the 2 semicircles. This one is worth looking at with a rotate to see exactly what's happened. And we see that the surface has been neatly drawn between the 2 semicircles. Again, pretty much what you'd expect. Now in this case we have 2 separate line strings, and these happen to be joined. Now they don't have to be since they're just 2 of them, but they are in this case. Now there may be a problem with this rather large change in the line string. So let's make a selection set, data point. No, not too bad at all. Because we had 2 lines at right angles connected, we do get a shape which makes sense. Then we move on to these. Now these are 3 identical lines, and because they're 3, the endpoints must be connected. Now this, again, is a pretty high curve, and there are 3 of them. The resulting surface may be a little unexpected. Let's find out. Here we go. As I said, unexpected. There's a puffy little lump in the middle there. Let's do a rotate to see what's happened. It's a bit odd. You may have to make some changes to those sections for this to work properly. Or, of course, you can edit the final surface by moving the control points with the Modify Element tool as we did in the last video. Let's try this one. Again, pretty complex. 3 separate edges must be connected. Again, a pretty lumpy line string. Let's see what happens. Quite messy, as you can see. Let's rotate now. So, interesting looking shape, but maybe not what I want. Anyway, let's leave it where it is. So some serious modification, I think, of those profiles is required. Now this one has 4 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, of course, connected. And we can kind of expect something reasonable from this, I think. So let's make sure the tool works. Data point. There. That's reasonable, I think, given the shape of the 4 profiles. Okay, so there's some examples. Play with those and try doing 2s, 3s, and 4s, and 5s. Make sure that if you have 3 or more, that they are connected at their endpoints. That's the only big proviso. Be careful with the odd curves in your profiles too, as you've seen. Now, to round things off for this video, I want to look at this next tool, which is Surface by Corner Points. And again, nothing in the tool settings window. And what I've got here is a block. Let me turn this back into a wireframe. So it's just a block or a rectangle drawn with individual lines. And all I'm doing is using it to locate these lines. These are going to be my corner points. So I can choose anywhere on these lines as a corner point. Click on it, select a corner point, drag to another corner point. Now you see I'm dragging a surface like a cat's cradle sort of thing, data point. This will be our last one, so data point, and the surface is constructed. Let's shade it. Let's get rid of the original rectangle. And let's do a rotate on this one too. Now, as I rotate it, note that this is a curved surface, curved in 3 directions, not a flat surface at all. Quite a sophisticated surface, all from 4 points. In fact, see if you can do any more than 4 corner points with this tool.